Hi guys, Envious here, and today I'm going to be talking you through how I made my Janna staff. Janna is a support from League of Legends, elfie lady that I really like, so I'll get right into it. To begin the project, we put the Janna staff design into Photoshop. A little bit of help from Demora Fairy there, since I'm not the best at Photoshop, though I am learning. We made it a 1-to-1 scale and I printed out and transferred it onto foam. In total I used 6 layers of 1 centimetre thick foam from Polygraphs. After making sure all the foam pieces, well, kind of slotted together, I then went ahead and started contact with sieving the layers of foam together. I use Alpha Fix-O-Fix, which you can get on Amazon Prime for £13 a pot. Really good stuff. Once I finished that, I hot glue gunned, as you can see, a PVC pipe into the middle. The PVC pipe made channels for it first. That is so I could take the staff apart and make it transportable. For those of you who haven't used contact adhesive, to make the best use of it, you apply a thin layer to both sides of what you want to stick together, whether that's foam, thermoplastics or whatever else. You wait for it to dry and then you press it together nice and hard to create a really strong bond. Once the staff was all glued together, I went back to my little paper blueprint. I cut out some of the details and started drawing that onto the foam. The next step that I needed to do was start detailing my massive lump of foam. Once I'd cut out the blueprint, I then transferred this onto the foam. I then spent the next absolute age just carving away at this massive block. To get rid of like the largest amount first, before going in with the sander, I did go at it with my knife for quite a while. It's just a standard Stanley blade with a nice little handle that I picked up from B&Q.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you.
Now for the bit that took an absolute bloody age, sanding. I don't have a belt sander. I'm planning on getting one now that I've got garage space. But I spent ages at just going away with, I think it was 180 grit on my Dremel. Please make sure that, especially when you're sanding, that you're using a respirator of some sort and that the area is well aired. I'm sitting right next to like a bay window, so it's pretty ventilated in my living room. But as you can see, I am wearing like a proper protective gear too. After finishing all my sanding, I did a little bit of repairs where I'd hacked way too much with a bit of epoxy sculpt. I then went on to making the gems. As you can see, I've already made one there. The gems are made from Warbler's Crystal Art. This is the first time using this material. I wanted to try something a bit lighter weight than resin, especially for the size of the staff and how big the gems were. So what I could say using this stuff, it does get very hot and I did burn myself multiple times, so you need to make sure you're being really careful with that. The best way I found of using Warbler's Crystal Art was to melt it in a glass, as you can see there. Work with it a little bit, try and flatten it out. I didn't want massive lumps for the crystals, so I flattened it out and then turned it into a dome. It does hold its shape as it is a thermoplastic. To dye it, you could just use acrylics or whatever you had around. I was lucky enough to have some clear kind of transparent orange paint left over from another project, so I mixed a little bit of that in, as you can see, just working it in slowly. And yeah, to put the gems in place, I just used a little bit of hot glue. Once I'd got them into a shape I was satisfied with. After finishing off the gems, I went on to making the other bits for the staff. I measured out PVC pipe and added connectors in. Again, 6 layers of foam, or was it 4? I think it was 4, which I layered up and carved down, then dremeled into a nicer shape again, and tried to make a nice transition into the pipe. All of this project was primed using Plasti-Dip, first time using full foam, so I thought I'd give it a go. I got a black one which I could use as a nice base so I can make the colour really pop. It's really quite good stuff, nice and flexible. I really would recommend giving it a go. The polyprop seal is also quite good, but just because I'm lazy and like things easy, I prefer using spray kind of primers. I masking taped off the gems first and then went ahead using the paint I'd grabbed. It's an Iridescent airbrush paint. It's a really good brand. I will try and put a link for it in the description. And I just slowly built up the colour. As you can see, it's really just starting to build up, and honestly it looked absolutely gorgeous in the light. Once I finished up building the blue, I did go back and add a little bit of shading and weathering, a little bit by hand and a little bit using the airbrush. Luckily it was nice and easy to wipe off. I tend to use a black ink or brown inks for doing a little bit of weathering once I finish painting. The last little touch I did before varnishing was add a little bit of silver highlight here and there just to try and pick up a little bit. Blended it in using my finger and a paintbrush. Would really recommend just using like a blending medium and not your finger, but that's just what I'm used to. And that's that, so thank you for watching my Janna staff tutorial. I hope it was helpful for anyone just wanting a little look at the process of how I did things, and yeah, thank you for watching.